in at Lightning Bolt Studio with our guest tonight, Randy Hansen. Randy, welcome to Thrash Zone.
Well, how you doing? It's good to be here. I'm having a good time.
We're having a great time. We're drinking some Kraken spiced rum, and smoking some Gorilla Glue, courtesy of William Wagner. Thank you very much. Also want to thank our sponsors. We have Michael Decker of Mama Lynn Records, who also supplies us with money for food and booze.
Bail.
And bail if we ever need it, yeah. So I want to thank him too. And I want to thank all our listeners on KOUV and also on Digital Revolution Radio in Naugatuck, Connecticut. So Randy, it's so great to meet you.
You too.
And that moment has come. Check it out. Let me just tell you from the very beginning. The very first time that I ever saw you was in 1981. All right?
Wow, that's before my mom.
All right, now check this out. Now, in 1981, I lived in San Francisco, and there was a show at the Concord Pavilion. You opened up.
Motley.
Yeah, you opened up for Motley Crue and Y&T.
Right.
Right.
Oh, dude,
that was the
Dave
first time I ever
Minichetti.
saw
That
you.
was Halloween
Dave
night,
Minichetti.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
I remember I got dressed up after the show like I was half donkey and half a duck, so I was a donkey duck.
Donkey Duck?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but that was my introduction to who you were.
Wow,
And-
that wasn't really a wild night, you know.
Yeah.
Something funny happened after that. Dave Manichetti comes up to me after the. No, what was it? I think it was the drummer.
Leonard Hayes?
Leonard Hayes walked
Yeah.
up to me. He goes, puts his arm around me. He goes, "We kick Motley Crue. You and me, we kick Motley Crue's ass." and then after that, then Nikki Sixx came up to me, put his arm around me. He goes, "Me and you, we kicked Y&T's ass."
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Nikki Sixx went to Roosevelt High School here in Seattle, and
Right.
all the boys talk about him because he stole the Les Paul from yeah.
He was always
There's so
really
many
nice.
good stories.
He was so
yeah.
nice to me, that guy. He used to come to my gigs and everything and hang out and everything.
Yeah, I think his
He
name
brought
is
Dio with him.
Frank, right?
Yeah, we
That's his
played-
real name.
We played the country club down there in LA, and he brought Ronnie James Dio with him one night.
Yeah.
Took a lot of pictures with him and talked to him for a while. And,
That's awesome.
and then my bass player Jeff Pilson ended up being his bass player for a while.
Dokken. Didn't he play in Dokken?
He played in Dokken, and then
Yeah.
now he plays the bass for Foreigner.
Oh, sweet.
And then he was, you know, we actually were putting a band together on the sly, kind of, and it was called Flesh and Blood, and we had Vinny Appice on drums.
Sick.
And Jeff was going to play guitar and be the lead singer, and then I was just going to be the guitar player, you know, and sing backgrounds. And then we had, Michael Diamond on bass guitar.
Wow. These old
And
school
everything.
names.
And we all, you know, it just, it never came to fruition, but we did actually record a whole record together. But, you know, Vinny was on contract with Ronnie, so
Uh-huh.
he couldn't leave, you know.
That was during Dio's first album?
Yeah, and
Holy guy.
but he came in and recorded it with us anyway, and it turned out really cool. There's
Yeah.
a song called Snake Eyes on there. It's just cool as shit.
It's really a cool song. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I
Wow.
think you can get it on YouTube if you go Flesh and Blood and then Snake Eyes.
I can get
maybe,
anything off of
Maybe
YouTube.
my name.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do some of that check-in when we play some tunes.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Well, Randy, you know, to get everyone up on what's happening today, you just released Funtown. And why don't you tell us about this epic adventure? Now, there's a lot of tracks on this when we have 15 songs. I guess that's kind of standard nowadays, you know, on CDs.
Well, Funtown is an imaginary amusement park where you can do, it's like Fantasy Island. You can do whatever the hell you want. You just have to tell them what it is you want, and they'll set it up for you. And then I give us a couple suggestions. Can you skydive into a giant feather pillow? And you know, that's what one guy wants to do. And then can you blow things up, and whatever you want to do, you can do at Funtown. And Funtown is actually, if you take the history of the world and think of everything that mankind has ever thought up and done, executed, good and bad, everything on the planet. That's what Funtown is.
Yeah, right.
And so every song on there is a different ride at Funtown, and it has to do with, it's kind of my green album, you know. I just wanted to do something for the planet, and at the time I thought that I might be dying, so I recorded it real fast, and I put all my thoughts into what I thought I should say before I die, and that's basically what the album is.
Now, Randy, you were telling me that each one of these tracks is dedicated to a guitarist.
Right. I used different styles of guitar playing on every song. And you can kind of tell who I'm doing just by listening.
By the style that
I
you're
used everybody, you know, there's a lot of people I'm influenced by, and I just picked some of them, you know, some of the major ones. Joe Walsh,
Sure.
Hendrix for sure, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, Richie Blackmore.
Yeah. All classics.
Eddie Van Halen too, mainly,
Right.
you know, especially Eddie, because Eddie was early in my career. We met, and it was because my soundman was Floyd Rose. And
The guys that make the whammy bars?
Yeah. So like, my soundman gave me the first Floyd Rose, and Guitar Player magazine wrote an article on me, and I showed a picture of it, and they even put figure 1 and, you know, figure 2 and stuff, you know, for the nut, and then they took a lot of pictures of it, and Eddie saw that article, and so he shows up at a gig. He knew that I was playing, and he shows up at Whiskey A Go Go with his whole band except for Dave, probably out women hunting or something. But so he shows up and he wants to see the Floyd Rose, and so I was tuning it right then. I put it on a '61 Stratocaster, and so he walked in while I was tuning it, and I went over to meet him, and then I brought him back over to the tuner, and I showed, okay, now it's in tune, right? And then I clamped it down, and then I put it down on the ground, and I buried the bar with my foot. Right? And then I stomped on it a couple of times.
Yeah, for good measure.
And then I picked it back up, and I turned the guitar kind of face down, and I pressed it all the way to the body, and showed him how the strings were hanging off the body. Right. Then I shook it like that and everything, and I didn't even play anything. I just plugged it back into the tuner, and I showed him how every string was completely in tune.
Still in tune.
Exactly in tune.
This is what the whammy bar
is. And I said, I've been using these guitars like this, and I play a 3-hour show. We play back to back all the Hendrix songs. We don't stop for 3 hours. That was the original show, and we were the first tribute band in the world. When I started doing this, there was not a tribute band in the whole world. There was Elvis impersonators, but really the way this evolved had nothing to do with that. It was a question that I was in a comedy band, and the guy wanted to add a show, Gary McKinney and Kid Chrysler and the Cruiser. He wanted to add a show to our already comedy show, and he says, let's make fun of rock stars. Who do you want to make fun